Turn me up.
Now it's time for On the Road, presented by Best Western. We're obviously here in Auburn, Alabama. This is the Jungle. Now, Jay Will,
Yep.
I talked to 3 guys earlier.
Okay.
They said that they had been camping outside since 7 minutes before the South Carolina game ended. So they were out there for a minute.
3 days, 4 days.
That's a long time. They're right there. They're right there. Yeah,
I like
there.
the dedication.
Yeah, pretty solid.
I mean, for a game of this magnitude, you have a chance to own the SEC against Cal and Kentucky. I want to see that commitment from the fans. I want to see it tonight from the fans. That's what I need to see.
They've definitely shown up today. Okay, so one thing that we've seen this college basketball season is a lot of top 10 teams losing. We've talked about this a lot, right? What exactly do they need to do in order to keep that, to not make that happen anymore?
For top 10 teams not to lose?
Yeah.
I think it's all about defending home court. I mean, for most teams, right? And I think the issue we have in college basketball, with the exception of Purdue and UConn, I don't know what I'm going to get every single weekend.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't. I mean, if it's North Carolina losing to Syracuse, if it's Cal and Kentucky losing to random opponents, I think this is the year where we have so many incredible teams, but the door is so wide open for teams to have a legitimate chance to get to a Final Four. I firmly believe it's all about being hot at the right time of the year. If a team like Auburn can be hot going into the SEC tournament, you tell me there's not a reason why Auburn can't be in the Final Four.
They agree with that. Okay, so Selection Sunday, it's about a month away. What teams do you expect to be selected on Selection Sunday?
All the 64?
All 64.
All 64 teams? I mean, look, I think a lot we're going to find out in the dog days of February. I think these kind of games are critical. I think seed line is one of the most important things, right? And I often joke around when everybody's like, oh, okay, well, how about this team? Can they win it? And I'm like, yeah. One of the reasons we won it my sophomore year because we looked at the bracket. We got blessed with a really good bracket, right? So it's also about what your seed line is and what your bracket is, what your region is, who's in that region, who gives you the best path to the Final Four.
Okay, let's talk about the opponent today because we have Kentucky coming to town, right?
I love it. Gotta love being booed.
We went to Kentucky. We went and saw Kentucky earlier this year. Now, obviously, they were playing really well, and then they lost 3 of their last 5. What do they have to do in order to change that for the Wildcats?
They got to defend. I mean, one of the issues that doesn't really get discussed a lot from fans' perspective is just like when you're a young player, you're a freshman in college, you have no idea what sustained excellence is on the defensive end. Number one, your conditioning is not the level. All these kids are coming being McDonald's All-Americans, being top high school players. They didn't play any damn defense in high school. What you thought you were doing, strapping up, locking people up, you're not really doing that. All of a sudden, when you have a scouting report and you're doing that for full 40 minutes of a game where you're trying to execute the scouting report in the second half, that takes great conditioning, but that takes also great mental conditioning. And I think we're seeing a young team that's trying to find their way, once again, for Cal, which is a subject we'll discuss today.
Yeah, for sure.
Having another young team, can they find their way at the right time of the season to really hit their stride?
There was a Kentucky fan out here, and you guys were telling him to go home. Where's our Kentucky fan? Where did he go?
They're all the way up there.
All the way up there?
They're up there, yeah. Yeah, they got booed.
Okay, so Auburn has been pretty good at home, obviously. It's the jungle. What does Kentucky need to do in order to get a win today here?
Oh, they got to keep guys like Janai Broome and Jay Will.
Yeah.
He calls himself the original Jay Will, but I'm the older one, but I will give him the name as long as he continues to play well.
You can't be the original for 1 second.
Well, every time I call a game of his, he plays out of his mind. So maybe this is something indicative of tonight. But I think, look, we saw a team get second chance opportunities against Kentucky like Gonzaga, right? And I think that's what Auburn has to do. Defensively, they have to be elite. They have to keep their guards out of the lane, and they got to dominate them on the boards. If they could dominate them on the boards and keep them out of fast break opportunities, I think Auburn has a legitimate chance to win this game. We're stirring the pot.
They're not happy about it. They're not happy about it. Okay, so should I ask the question, what does Auburn need to do to get a win today?
Regardless, this thing to be elite. I mean, look, if they can get second chance opportunities on the glass, that's great. I said it during Sports Center, though. One thing I see as a guard when you play against Kentucky, if I'm in the side pick and roll, they're big sit back, literally. Like, if the pick and roll is out here, come up with me on the court for a second. Let me show you.
Oh my gosh, yes.
If the pick and roll is right here, okay? The guard, the bigs guarding the pick and roll, all the way back. Keep going, keep going, keep going. They're going to be sitting there. So the pick and roll is out here. If I come up that pick and roll, if you're there, I'm going to have all day. I'm
Yeah.
going to have shots. I can get into the gaps.
Right.
I can do all these different things because they play in semi-drop coverage.
Yeah.
If Aiden Holloway and Trey Donaldson can have big games and make sound decisions, Auburn should not have an issue with this game. But if they don't, they'll find themselves in a dogfight with Kentucky having a legit chance to win.
All right, we'll see if they're able to get it done. Thanks for the demonstration there. That was a lot of fun. We should do that more.
That's what I'm saying. Get you on the court, get some fans out here.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, that was On the Road presented by Best Western.